Welcome home. We are in beautiful Cockeysville. We're at Pappas restaurant. I got crab in here and cream of crab over here. It is a cup of Super Bowl. We are Crab Cake Row. I'm watching the big game proceedings here on television, and I'm seeing the low 50s of Las Vegas. We're in balmy Cockeysville here. We're doing it live until 5 o'clock, telling stories. Friends are coming by, stories of glory. Mike Rosenfeld is our chief digital officer. I know he looks like it's one of those smart tech guys, because he is. You can find him at Web Connection. He's decided, much like Bill Cole, to ride shotgun today. How are you? You were very worried about me as just a friend, as a sponsor, as my chief digital officer. You're like, this is nuts. This is crazy. And now you show up an hour 37. I got my Orioles orange on. I got the Red Devils here. Robbie's over here. Robbie Jr. is going to come over here and talk about sports and life and all that. How are you?
Wonderful. You know what? We've never done this live. I like your setup. I'm using your own gear, so you don't have to yell at me about how horrible my audio quality is. This is awesome.
Doesn't he sound dreamy? Janice is here. Janice Wilson is the executive director of the Red Devils. Wouldn't you listen? Doesn't he has a nice dulcet tone?
You know, I'm living the dream. I am living the dream with two handsome men on a wonderful Friday afternoon. What more could a girl ask for?
You want me to let my hair down?
Well, don't do that.
All right.
Let's not get crazy.
Well,
Come
not
on
till
with the
3
hair
o'clock.
down.
Not till 3 o'clock. We're going to do that, you know. Mike's on every week, or like about that. He is one of our tech gurus around here. I just want to say this before I bring on the Red Devils, talk Janice about breast cancer, because we've had a couple. We've had Tiana here. We've had Susan Komen. I got to give them just some love, because they gave me a real press pass.
Look at that.
They knew I had mine taken away, and they're like, you know what, we're going to make one for you. So, I mean, a big appreciation, and I've known Alice and those folks for a long time. I hit wrong buttons, so just, he's a little bit of my Dr. Melfi, remember Sopranos? Mm-hmm. He and Cole as sponsors and friends. When I'm feeling down, these are like my real friends. So,
Rescue Rabbit.
I knocked me off the air once on Monday and once on Tuesday. JR, our engineer knocked us off the air and fed me double talk on Tuesday, because it's all new equipment. Now, when I was a boy, are you a psychologist in any way?
Not at all.
You can't help me? All right. Bartender? Anything?
I'm a bartender.
Okay.
I was a psych major at University of Maryland, so lean back. I'll listen to your problems and see what I can do to help you
All
out.
right, here's what happened.
Not that's not what we do when we talk anyway, but go ahead.
I've got trust issues because when I was a child, my parents told me they were going to get me a light bright. And because I saw the commercial, light bright.
Making things with light.
Yeah, right.
Out
exactly.
of sight,
Right,
making
out of sight.
things with light bright. Oh, I have too much
All right.
time on my hands. Oh, boy.
So I never got one when I was a kid, and then JR showed me this toy, and I got this toy, and I keep hitting the wrong buttons. So what happened on Monday, guys, will make you laugh. I had two wonderful gentlemen. I gave a speech at the Rotary. The only Rotary speech I ever gave. So they're like, we saw you speak at the Rotary. I'm like, yeah, like 20 people there. Yeah, we were the cops in the corner talking about our foundation. We talk to young people about not being afraid of the police, and we're like them. And I'm like, great. So the dudes come in at Fadley's, and I don't know what I'm doing. I'm so crazy. It's day one. I've already been off the air once. The dude picked up my headset, right? My headset's the only headset that I can hear the radio station, and I thought we were off the air. And he's like, hey, man, he's wearing my headset, doesn't know that he's wearing my headset. He grabbed it, and chaos ensued, as well as comedy, and we got it all together, and I fixed it. And then on Tuesday, my wife was working at the radio station, and she's like got a real job, like project engineering, like at a high level, like when bridges go down in Pittsburgh, her internet needs to work, and she got a new laptop last week, and it wasn't playing nice with the router, and she was working at the office. She reset the router. This router that goes there.
Oh, no.
So JR is the smartest guy, and no offense to you, but even smarter than you. He's been a tower engineer for 35 years, and he was struggling with this on Monday. I have had perfect air all day Wednesday, all day Thursday. It's halfway through. So you got here at the end of the week, and you're like, how do you like the live radio? It's awesome. If you would have asked me on Monday or Tuesday, I would have said, what am I doing? I shaved this morning. I look good, and I'm going to make it till 5 o'clock today. I just want you to know that's my friend.
You're close.
Well, I'm going to make it because people like the Red Devils are here.
I'm half full guy. what I'm seeing, and maybe people will be able to see if they look at
It's a
some
tale
of
of
the
survival for me, for sure.
Yeah, I mean, you've upped your game, and sometimes when you up your game and you have new tools, you have to figure them out along the way.
Cole
But the
said to
end
me
result,
yesterday, he's like, "Are you going to go live again?" I'm like, "Next year."
Right.
And I made a decision when Carmen Del Guecho from the Maryland Food Bank was with us yesterday. I had my moment where I keep looking up and watching all my peers do their job that I'm not allowed to do, and I'm doing this instead, which is much more meaningful and important. I said to Carmen, we're going to start naming these with Roman numerals. So it's official here on Friday. We're doing this again next year.
Okay.
It's going to be bigger. It's going to be better. Tell everybody the Ravens are going to be in the big game next year. Go ahead, tell them.
I mean, look, you never know, but
But you know where I'm going to be?
Right
on
here.
Crab Cake Row. Crab Cake Row, I.
tell you what,
Roman numerals.
if the Ravens,
I.
if the Ravens go to
Not
the,
me, I.
yeah, if they go to the big game next year and ticket prices are what they are this year, I'll be right next to you again.
You'll be
know?
you.
Yeah, be me.
Here.
I have to be able to take both sons, and at $15,000 to $20,000 just for tickets, don't think that'd happen.
Take them somewhere like Tahiti. Go see the Northern
Make
Lights.
a donation to charity.
Right.
Yeah.
Go safari.
Sorry.
Yeah.
Interject.
You're good
I'm
with the
glad
money.
she stepped
That's
up.
right.
Janice Wilson's here with the energy today. The Red Devils. I've heard a lot about them. I think we've done something a long time ago supporting breast cancer families. They are at the-red-devils.org, easing the economic and emotional impact of breast cancer by paying for patients transportation to treatment, family support needs, and medical services and treatment-related expenses. I will give your tax ID number, but I don't need to do that. You're good people. Tell me about
What
Red
the heck
Devils.
does all that mean, right?
Yeah, where
that's
does
a
it all
lot of,
fit? How'd you get started
That's
in
a lot
this?
of corporate speak, right?
Yeah, right.
The simple thing about what we do is that we make it possible for breast cancer patients to enter treatment without delay, to remain in treatment without delay. You know, there's a lot of attention that goes on either end of the spectrum, helping people find a cure. But what we deal with are the day-to-day immediate needs that face a family. So you don't have to choose if you're a breast cancer patient. You don't have to choose between paying for groceries and paying for treatment. You can have it both. You should have it both. And that's what we do.
My wife was diagnosed with leukemia 10 years next March 20th, it'll be 10 years. And someone said to us on day one, Chuck Pagano, who had survived, he called us bedside. He said, in the end, this will be a blessing. I hear his voice. In the end, this will be a blessing, he said to me. And I think part of it is understanding this thing better, right? Like my wife went through it. She's awesome. So awesome, she knocked me off the air on Tuesday. That's how awesome she's doing. So awesome, I'm going to bring her food, Greek desserts from here because they're going to make me take them home to work today at Pappas. But, you know, we saw so many people who had it way worse than us. Didn't have a donor, didn't have insurance, didn't have the right insurance, didn't have enough insurance. Like my girl Jess Drew, your two little children, didn't have a, successful bon vivant husband to be a caretaker, and the whole community sending all of this stuff to her hotel room and trying to keep her alive, Not everybody has that.
Right. And that's kind of how we got started. The founders of the Red Devils realized that not everyone was as fortunate as the loved ones that they were caring for. They saw women showing up for chemotherapy infusions, carrying a child care seat, a car seat with a baby in it because they couldn't find...
Or taking two buses.
Or taking two buses. Or worse yet, getting kicked off the bus because you're sick. Because you're about to hurl, and the bus driver says, no, lady, you got to get off my bus. Because you're making other people uncomfortable.
Now you're making me sick.
So that's how we got started, realizing that there was this huge gap of resources and assets. And our mission is to provide support to anyone with breast cancer, regardless of your station in life, regardless of your economic situation. If you need help because you can't make it over the hump, we'll give you a boost.
You got questions, I know.
I sure
know.
do.
That's why I brought him.
I just,
Can I get some more soup? I'll let Mike take over.
I don't want to step on your toes. I have to. My wife is a breast cancer survivor, so this is near and dear to me. So I've just explain. You don't have to choose between groceries and your treatment, but explain a scenario that you help people so that it's more you can touch.
Well, I'll tell you, we had a mother of a toddler reach out to us, and she wrote saying that she just needs help feeling like a good mom again because she can't afford to buy diapers, can't afford to buy food because her out-of-pocket costs for her chemo treatments and radiation are killing her. And she feels as though what's happening to her is having an ill effect on her kid.
This is a single mother.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Can't keep her
I mean,
job. You can't work when you're sick like this.
so how can you can't say no to that. No one should ever be put in that position of having to make that kind of choice. So she wrote to us through her hospital. We got her the formula she needed, the diaper she needed, and she wrote back saying, thank you. Thank you so much because I feel like a good mom again. It's that simple.
Anything
It's
you
the
can
things
do
take
to
for
ease the
granted.
burden of someone that's battling, Mike, right? I mean, any little thing, just little tiny things when you're waking up bald as a woman in a bed, strapped to a pole with a port in your chest, any little thing you could do.
And you don't know what that thing is because that little thing is different for each and every person. We had an elderly woman who loved to read, couldn't afford to get her eyes examined and a new script for her glasses. How easy it is for us to say, here, take care of it. And now, she's reading each and every night, comfortable as she'd want to be.
So my takeaway so far is there is no cookie cutter solution. It's dependent on what the challenges are of each individual
Which is
patient.
the beauty of our mission statement, to improve the quality of life for breast cancer patients and their families. Because what you don't realize is that breast cancer has what we call a cascading effect. Your wife may be touched because she's the patient, but it ripples down to you. It ripples down to everyone else in the family who come together as a support unit to try to figure out how do we help her survive. And those burdens that it puts on the family, we can be there to address. If her neighbor is paying for gasoline to take a patient to treatment, we'll give her a gas card, reimburse those costs, so that it's not such a burden on everyone who's pitching in to help.
I tell this horrible story second time. I told it already once today. I'll tell it again because all of you folks trying to do good work. But there was a woman in the hospital room next to my wife who had little kids. It's Halloween. Kids are trick-or-treating. And she was sick as a dog. She was throwing up. My wife had that the week before. My wife had a bunch of patches, these nausea patches. They're like, dude, they're like $500 a piece. I mean, they're really, really expensive. And my wife had like 4 of them laying around, and she didn't have insurance. We went into the box, and I took them over there and said, you're taking these, My wife had insurance. They were free to my wife. For people in this circumstance where a drug, transportation, you're at base core issues. I saw stuff inside the perimeter, as the Ravens build out would say, inside the walls where people had needs. They're in the bed, they're there, and the nurses look and say, sorry, you get the gold, you get the silver. Sorry, you don't get a medal.
Right.
And these kind of resources, I saw people battling alone. No caregiver, no one there, maybe somebody that would come once a week and visit them, and they're, walking around listening to doctors on rounds, all of that every day. But the needs of everybody there, emotional needs, everybody has that, right? But then there's the real, I'm sick, I can't afford the medicine that's going to ease me. And I hope your organization has some thought on that as well.
Well, we try to do the best that we can do. And the way we can accomplish our highest objective is through the support of individuals.
Sure.
So, our biggest thought is if you participate, if you become a donor, then we're better able to help more people. And we invest on average about $225 per patient we assist. So, it's like you talk about the price of a bowl ticket.
Right.
How many patients can you help for the cost of a $15,000 seat?
Yeah.
Think about that.
I'm thinking about it.
Or what's the commercial cost on that game? Millions of dollars.
Right.
Right? Just give us a slice of that tiny pie.
Well, let's talk about that. I've, in my career, worked with a lot of nonprofits, so there's, I'm not going to say just 2 challenges, but one is the funding and the raising of funds, which is huge, because without that, you can't help people. And the other, and I'm sure we'll talk about that because I'm looking at your domain name and your website, so I'll talk about, make sure we get that across. The other is getting the word out that that you exist and that you can help people. Talk to us about how you do that. How, like when my wife was going through it, we were fortunate enough, like as you were, to have insurance but how does someone know about your organization? Do you talk to medical professionals and they tell their patients? What type of marketing?
Good question.
Yeah.
I wish we had the wherewithal to stand on top of the highest mountain, broadcast the brightest beacon, yell as loud as we can through the biggest megaphone, and tell the entire state that we're here and we're open for business.
Well, I had heard of you.
Well, you're a man in the
I
know.
had heard of
You're
you.
connected. Regrettably, we don't have enough money to fulfill that kind of demand that we would bring on ourselves. So we work very quietly with 31 hospitals throughout the state, and we work with those hospitals to refer their patients to the support services that we provide. Now, God willing, to the degree that we're able to grow, and we've been around for 20-some-odd years, but the bigger we get, then the more people we can assist. But right now we need to manage our marketing so that we can satisfy the result of those marketing efforts.
Because every dollar, you'd rather go into a patient's pocket than
Right.
marketing or...
So we're grateful for opportunities like this.
Yeah.
Airwaves, big audience, good supporters. Thank you.
Janice Wilson is the executive director of the Red Devils supporting breast cancer families. You're right here in Towson, right? You're a Towson company?
We are. We're a statewide company.
But you're
But
based in Towson.
based here in Towson.
No, WNST's based in Towson, so there
we are.
Yeah, Pappas. I don't know if it's a Cockeysville, but it's Upper Towson is what I would say. We're out here doing a cup of Super Bowl. It's Crab Cake Row. So events. Dare I say, do you have a big game? Do you? Is there something folks out there can do?
We've got a couple of things going
Sure.
on. We rely, as I said, on public donations to sustain our mission. We're doing an online raffle for a week in Ocean City.
Nice.
Ocean City raffle. The week is July 12th. You can enter on our website for the Ocean City raffle. Our good friends at Riptide are doing a guest bartender fundraising night for us on Fat Tuesday, so that's the 13th. We have our friends out at the Hard Yacht Cafe in Dundalk.
That's my homeland.
Are doing a chili cook-off. Show up.
I was going to say, don't talk bad. I mean,
March
people say
2nd.
Dundalk, and then sometimes there's like a punchline.
No.
Only I'm allowed to do that because I'm from Dundalk.
So, the kindness of
You got to be
strangers.
Cockeysville to do it. When I was broadcasting in Dundalk, I didn't get to do that the other day. But
The kindness of strangers showing up for our events make a huge difference.
well, we appreciate you coming out and being a part of the show, telling us about what you're doing. And Mike showed up, sat over there quietly, ate his soup. I didn't even know he was here. Get up here. You're supposed to co-host with me. Co-host. He sits down, and of course, serendipity would have it. It's something that's near and dear to him. So you're in the right place at the right time,
Mysterious
Mike
ways.
Rosenfeld.
I have a question. What is
here we go.
what is the web address?
The web address is thereddevilsmd.org.
Okay, well,
Forget the dashes.
I got to get the
So I
dashes.
see
All right,
that.
we fixed it. Okay,
Is
good.
and I see the MD at the end. Is this a chapter or is this a Maryland only thing? And
We are Maryland only, but
Okay.
we have aspirations.
Okay.
There's still, there's about 5,000 people who are newly diagnosed with breast cancer each year in Maryland. Right now, we're only able to service 10% of them. Once we service all of them, then we can move on to other states.
What's
But
the
our work
most
is
common thing that you do for folks? Transportation?
transportation.
Okay.
Yeah, what's growing is rents and mortgages,
Okay.
but transportation by far is a big need.
most of my clients that are nonprofits aren't aware. Have you heard of the Google grant?
The Google Ad Grant?
Yes.
Yes.
Do you have it?
We do not have it because for some reason we have challenges getting approved for it.
Okay. I tell you what. I mean,
He's taking your card is what he's going to do.
This wasn't planned. Every year, we donate our services to a nonprofit. I would be more than happy to shepherd you through the process. I can't guarantee it, although I am 100% in helping my clients get the Google grant, and take a look at the site to see what we can do to help you get the word out a little bit.
Okay, I'm weeping.
Don't weep.
No,
he
serious.
was weeping when he told the story about the patch. Don't make me weep because I'm a softie, but it would be my pleasure to do that. Your mission is obviously, even if you don't have someone like me whose spouse, everyone knows someone who's dealt with this. I feel fortunate. She's healthy, happy, in the best shape she's been in her life. So we're one of the lucky ones. So I'd be more than happy to help.
Thank you, Mike.
Sure. So we'll connect after this.
Thank you.
Now you're gonna get me weepy.
No,
All right, I gotta take a break. Mike's here. I'm getting rid of you people. I'm gonna get Robbie up here to talk about the Orioles. He's gonna make me cry because the Orioles are getting sold. So.
He's going to make you cry because of that?
Yeah, with joy. I mean,
okay.
Yeah, tears of joy.
I was like, I thought I knew you, and tears of joy makes perfect sense.
You
to
didn't
me.
hear a story about what I did this week? You haven't been on the show in a week and a half.
It's been a bit.
All right, so I told the story earlier. My wife and I went out to dinner to Costas on Saturday because I thought he's my tech guy, so bear with me here. I thought we were going to be using like Wi-Fi and using Ethernet. Instead, I got a 5G. It's been fine, but I didn't stream video because it was a little. It just felt like it was going to take a lot more juice than I have to get live video out. So we're live on the radio. We're taping everything. You're going to find this on Baltimore Positive for the Red Devils and every piece we've done. There's going to be an audio vault piece. Video will be usually, due. But I went to Costas thinking I needed to do a survey to figure out where their Ethernet was. I didn't. So I just did what anybody else does. I ate crab imperial. I had some fried shrimp. I had a beer. It was games where we had fun. And on the way out, my wife said, let's stop at Drug City and get some booze. I'm like, all right, let's get some booze. So we stopped by, and I had asked Wendy Bronfine 2 weeks ago, right when the thing happened. It happened on a Tuesday, Wednesday morning. She was my first guest on Wednesday morning. She's cannabis, Curio Wellness, foreign daughter. I said, I don't really like champagne. Is there a champagne of cannabis? And we chuckled, we laughed. So now I'm in the liquor store, and I'm thinking, I want to get something that's not champagne, but would feel celebratory, something that I can look at dinner every night and think, the minute the Orioles are really sold, really the minute I get my press pass back and I'm at the press conference, I'm going to open it to celebrate. And I decided to get a bottle of red blended wine that I've only had. It was way more expensive than I've ever spent for a bottle of wine. And it felt like a special occasion. And Marvin Lewis buys me expensive wine. He bought The Prisoner. It's a red blend, $60 bottle of wine. I spent $60 on it. It's corked. It sits it stares at me as I'm having dinner every night in my house. And I'm going to release The Prisoner when the Orioles are sold. So I've decided to do that this week.
Good for you. You should put that on camera. I'd love to see it. I'd love to see when you open the bottle.
Well, it was inspired by the guy that went down there and let off a sparkler, and he had
I saw him.
He popped that thing, and it was like confetti.
I expected a gaggle of people to join him. I kept tuning in to see if he was still by himself.
You thought it was a tweet up?
Yeah, I mean, it should have been. It should have been. I was in Detroit at the time, but we'll talk about that maybe in the next segment.
I was headed to yoga class, man.
Yeah.
But Robbie's here. I've just given you we all know where we were when, the team gets old.
You and I were texting back and forth before you officially went on record to do it, to say, because you're my guy, to check the resource. He texts me and says,
is this real?
Because it felt too good to be true.
I'm not a real journalist. If I were a real journalist, I'd be in Las Vegas with the rest of you. I wouldn't be here promoting the Red Devils.
You're a real
journalist. And hooking up
journalist.
Right, I wouldn't be here doing this work,
We know what you are.
Crab Cake Row, a cup of Super Bowl Next year, Me, 2, 1. Roman numerals.
Roman numeral 2 next year.
Absolutely. The Maryland Lottery sends me out. I do feel like Oprah. Paige, here, have one. There you go. One for you. One for you.
You get a ticket. You get a ticket.
Yeah, it's like Oprah. You get a ticket. My thanks to Janice Wilson from the Red Devils. You can find them. I have the right web address here. TheRedDevilsMD.org. She is in Taos, and she's the executive director. She's doing good things. God forbid anything happens with the breast cancer thing. Keep this in the back of your mind. You got help here if you need it, all right? I got soup here if I need it. I'm at Pappas in Cockeysville. Robbie Jr. is going to come up here for Robbie's first base. We're going to shed a tear for the old times. I'm right underneath the Adley Rutschman jersey and Gunnar Henderson and this beautiful mural we have. We're at Pappas in Cockeysville. Come on out. We're doing it for the Maryland Food Bank. Very, very simple. You bring stuff from the Maryland Food Bank, you get a cup of soup or bowl for free. You feel good? I feel good. Of course, it's 60 degrees and nobody wants soup today. But I thought it was going to be cold today. But, I hope it's cold in Kansas City and San Francisco and these people that are having fun. We're back for more. We're at Pappas. We're not in the Super Bowl, but we're having a cup of soup or bowl.